The film clearly shows the outline and the structure of the object, and also what seems to be the silhouette of two beings inside. The film has been thoroughly checked by a governmental scientific institution.
In the official report it says clearly that this is not a hoax at all. This is not a computer animated hoax or a model or anything like that. There is an physical object in the picture, in the footages, that we could not identify. They categorize them as unidentified flying objects.
Astonishing video has also been released from Mexico. Military gun camera shots of traveling UFOs hit the news in 2004. And even more astonishing, fleets of UFOs were seen and filmed over several cities. As a result of the rising national interest in the UFO issue in Mexico, one of their main broadcasters has run a 2.5-hour show every Sunday night the past 15 years, presenting the latest UFO documentation.
Well, I have a television program every Sunday night from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. It's prime time in the Mexican television. And we present the news around this phenomenon. It means the most recent videos, the most recent photographs, the most recent cases, the investigation behind that, the actuality. Many people in the media and even the public have been brainwashed by the scientists who don't want to investigate this. But there is enough evidence, scientifically proved, based, that can be investigated and presented to the scientists, and they have to accept and agree that this phenomenon is real. There is no question in my mind. I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for almost 40 years. And I know, because I've seen them, because I've seen creatures, and because I know it's true.
Behind me here, inside this blue container, is the only stationary, fully automatic 24-hour UFO observatory on the planet.
In Norway, the remote mountain valley Hessdalen became world famous after almost continuous observations from the early 80s on. Strange lights moved up and down the mountainsides every night over long periods, just above the treetops. In contrast to many other countries, scientists arrived and established a permanent UFO observatory.
The light phenomena here in Hessdalen in Norway started in late 81, with a lot of sightings. At the most it was 20 sightings a week. The local people here started to see the light down in the valley, sometimes close to their houses. And they was wondering, what could this be? And some was a little bit afraid too, because no one could give them any answer. What could it be?
Radar and cameras were soon to pick up astonishing pictures of the unexplained light phenomena. This picture is taken with 1/60th of a second exposure.
The phenomena behaves very different. Some is moving very slowly, and some lights can move very fast. The fastest speed we have ever measured was 30,000 kilometers an hour.
But the local residents claim to have seen more than just lights.
I februar-mars. Og så når jeg kom opp av hesteslia da, så var det mørkt. Men når jeg kom mest opp på toppen, opp på kjølen der som vi sier, der ble det opplyst rundt meg. Det ble opplyst om dagen. Så kom det nå og for over bil. Det var som en opplyst herrehatt. Gammeldags slik stor herrehatt med brem på det. Som for over bil og fremover.
Vi bevitnes på at de har sett det, så er det 68 observasjoner. Og det er nedskrevet, ja.
The observatory shoots pictures automatically every minute and puts them on the internet. Many amazing shots have been captured. After an automatic video recording system was put up, 1 year of waiting passed before the Hessdalen phenomenon is caught on camera. Zooming in and slowing down the film, something really astonishing is revealed. A smaller second light seems to appear from underneath, joining the main light. Is something collected by the lights? Landings were also reported, and even solid proof was found of Earth samples being taken in the midst of nowhere. Here, a 2 hours walk from the nearest dirt road, a 2-ton piece of wet turf has been cut out with laser precision, lifted and placed a few meters away. No sign of machinery nor people. During a week in September 2007, a major survey was carried out by the university scientists, assisted by students with several observation units. On the 4th night of the survey, the phenomenon decides to show up.
Then we had a big light that started out and moved very quickly north and south and gave us this very, very impressive picture, which possibly is the best picture ever taken of the Hessdalen phenomenon. The exposure time was 30 seconds. So we see that the Hessdalen phenomena moves from, starts up here and moves down and then goes up again here. The distance here, it's approximately maybe from 10 to 15 kilometers, the distance it has covered. And the camera has an optical grating in front of the lens, and this grating makes this optical spectrum here. The one thing that is that surprises us with this spectrum is that it's continuous. The colors goes directly over in the other color here, and we see no lines or dots here, which will give us a signal of that we have a gas that is burning. This looks like an optical spectrum from a solid object or from plasma with high density.
So it's still too early to say for certain what the origin of these lights is and what these flying objects really are. But one thing we can state as a fact: the phenomenon is here and it's real.
And what about the UPAN sightings in Belgium, the Phoenix lights in Arizona, the UFO at Osaka Airport, Japan, the UFO landing in Voronezh, Russia, the ghost rockets in Sweden, the Col d'Avance sightings in France, the UFOs filmed in Milan, Italy, the UFO fleets over Peru, the Chinese scientists filming UFO at the Purple Mountain Observatory. It goes on and on.
Well, of course, at this late date, there is just an abundance of documentation, military reports, radar sightings, personal experiences. They go back for many years, but they have been routinely ignored, shunned aside by the government, ignored by the media, and therefore the average person rarely gets to hear of these things. But when you put them together, it forms a very compelling picture that there is a reality that's happening all around us, that we are being systematically denied information on. I've had many people say, well, look, if all this happened, wouldn't there have been military people and radar operators and even policemen and stuff who would have said they had these experiences? And the answer is absolutely yes. But early on, they learned their lesson. If they stepped forward and they said, yes, I saw these things, then they tend to lose their job, they lose their credibility, people begin to snicker at them. And that's been very effective over the years in keeping this whole issue quiet.
I know that if they took an oath not to reveal that, in our country that was very serious at that time, okay? If you violated a top secret clearance, you could be put in jail for 15 or 20 years and everything you have done removed from you. Yeah.
Could this be why the military observations never reached the public? But many who had been involved in UFO sightings over the years felt a strong urge to reveal what they knew and to be relieved from the burden of carrying these secrets. After 30 or 40 years and having retired from service, many were willing to break their oaths and speak publicly.
They can stop on a dime, they can take off at Mach 10 or greater. It's unbelievable what they can do. So we need to know these things. So the only reason I'm here is to tell you, let's disclose this whenever we can. Please. Thank you.
In 2001, the U.S. medical doctor Stephen Greer staged an initiative where several hundred witnesses of high rank and high credibility came forward with what they had experienced during service. The Disclosure Project, helped by the internet and YouTube, was a formidable eye-opener to people all over the world.
So we started a project that's known as the Disclosure Project, which people can see at disclosureproject.org. Where we began to identify military and corporate and CIA intelligence officers who had personal knowledge of the classified operations dealing with this subject, and to get them to come forward with our information to disclose this publicly. Because what we felt was necessary was that the secrecy should be ended and this information disclosed so that humanity, not just one country in America, but all of humanity could make peaceful contact with these civilizations visiting us, but also would lay the foundation for these new technologies, the energy and propulsion systems that are behind these UFOs that are so mysterious. How are they flying? Well, this is understood, but they are in classified projects. So that was another objective, was to get the technologies out to the public so we could have a civilization that would get freed from the use of oil and the destruction of the environment.
There were probably 1,500 reported cases at that time.
I have over 3,000 cases now.
They estimated 100 yards from the left wing was this 100-foot disc.
And the strength of the signal was as strong as the surface contact on the water of an aircraft carrier. This contact was huge.
The size of these objects around 100 meters or greater.
So it would go from 1 o'clock, 7 or 8 miles to 6, 7 o'clock, 7 or 8 miles inside of 4 or 5 seconds. You have to be moving pretty quickly.
They could rise, just go straight up. They could do that, just seemed like instantaneous.
Once they started moving, they went straight up, for a while, and then they went zap.
Then it just sort of disappeared. It dematerialized and left the atmosphere, just was gone. It just took off into space.
He said, "You are never to speak of this again. As far as you're concerned, this never happened."
And you never saw this, and I don't exist, and this situation never happened.
I didn't want to look at it any longer than that because I felt that my life was in jeopardy.
I am prepared to state that I have been at locations where craft of unknown origin that did not originate on the face of this planet was there. I am prepared to state that while I was there, we saw living, dead bodies of entities that were not born on this planet. I am prepared to state that we had what they referred to as interfacing with those entities. We have contact with aliens not originating from some foreign country, but from some other solar system. And I have been a party to that.